I do think in wrestling it's fun to talk about what ifs or could have been, should have been, what should be, all of these different things, these hypothetical topics, these fantasy land type of topics. People always talk about what if you did a WWE TNA invasion angle and this and that and everything else, or what about this guy here and where would he fit in? This guy there, where would he fit in? So I was kind of thinking about it the other day and I'm like, I do wonder what TNA stars could actually get over in today's WWE. I think it's an interesting topic. Maybe it'd speak in part to the WWE's philosophy of how they push people or don't push people, and what types of people they do push or don't push. And then also from a TNA standpoint, in terms of a comparative measure of their talent roster compared to the WWE. And now I don't think anybody will sit there and try and tell you otherwise, at least I wouldn't hope so, is that the talent roster for TNA has been very depleted over the past probably 12 months or so through releases and guys' contracts expiring on all of this. The strength of the TNA talent roster is not all that good. So that's what kind of made me think about this. What TNA guys would actually get over in WWE or even could get over in the WWE. Now, for the sake of this, I'm not counting the former WWE guys. I'm not counting the Kurt Angles, the Jeff Hardys, the MVPs, the Bully Rays, the Bobby Lashley's, the Mr. Andersons. I'm not counting them for this purpose because I'm focusing on other guys. And frankly, when you look at some of these former WWE guys, some of them probably could go right back and get right back over again, but some of them maybe would have like a quick little nostalgia thing, and then maybe they would struggle to regain their footing or balance in the WWE, and that might be the case. But for this purpose of this exercise, I did not want to count those former WWE guys because that would kind of make it, um, you know, kind of defeat the purpose of what I'm looking at here. I'm talking about more of the TNA guys, so to speak, and what TNA guys would actually be able to go over to WWE and get themselves over. As a result, I'm also not counting Ethan Carter III because he's a guy that had a period of time in WWE in their developmental, territory in NXT. And yes, now he's EC3 in TNA, but I'm lumping him in more so with the WWE guys. So I'm not really going to count him for this. But even if I did, I would question whether or not the Ethan Carter III character would really work for the WWE and if they would really know what to do with it. I think that character is much better suited for a TNA. Now, here are some of the guys that I think would not get over in WWE, and there's different reasons as to why. I'll look at somebody like a Rockstar Spud. He's what, all of 5'3", 5'4". I just don't see where the WWE would ever even try to utilize him to a point where you would ever even have an opportunity to get over. And that's part of the thing you got to understand in this exercise too, is it's not just about the talents and performers themselves. It's about what the WWE would envision in them and would see in them and what they would choose to do or not do with them that would ultimately determine whether or not they could get over or not. But I look at a Rockstar Spud and I don't really see it. The Bromans, Jesse and Robbie E., I don't think they would get over. They're not really, frankly, over with the TNA audience. So if they're not over with the TNA audience, how the hell would they ever get over with the WWE audience? I think that's an interesting question. I look at Abyss and I say, nah, I don't think he'd get over at all in the WWE. He would be looked at as nothing more than a very cheap knockoff Kane hybrid mankind imitation, and a very poor one at that. TNA has pushed this guy for years, and it seems like every time they get a chance, they will force this guy down your throat, regardless of what results they do, or more often than not, do not get. I look at a guy like Sonata, their X Division champion, and I say, yeah, sometimes it is this simple. He's Japanese. Oh, look at what WWE's done with Yoshitatsu. No way Sonata gets ever a chance of realistically being able to get over in the WWE. For all the talk I have about the WWE and their failure to push the black superstars, so now we get on to the Asian guys. It hadn't been a good track record for them either. I look at the Wolves, and I know some of you are going to dispute this because you're going to look at Davey Richards and you're going to look at Eddie Edwards and you're going to be like, oh my God, they're like CM Punk and they're like Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. And those guys have gotten over in the WWE, so Richards and Edwards could as well. Well, no, I don't think so. Number one, I don't think they have the all-around talent of a Dolph Ziggler, let alone a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan. To me, I could see kind of what you're talking about, but to me, it's a little bit of comparing apples to oranges. Furthermore, I look at these two guys, and most importantly, because they're, excuse me, most importantly because of their inability to really capture you with their stick work, meaning their work on the mic. I could see them becoming people like Evan Bourne or Tyson Kidd, guys that the WWE just doesn't really push or focus on and wouldn't really get over with the audience. They might have that segment of people that like them. You might have them segment of people that would like their matches in WWE, but at the end of the day, just because you like their matches, that doesn't necessarily mean they're getting over. Part of getting over is getting a consistently loud reaction, is drawing people to see you, people buying your merch, people paying money to see you. And I'm just not sure in the WWE if Richards and Edwards, the Wolves, would be able to do that. Because if you brought them in as a tag team, as part of the tag team division, well, the WWE, again, they really don't do much with the tag team division and haven't for years. And I'd hate to think about what they would do with these two guys individually in Edwards and Richards. Frankly, I think they're better off where they currently are for their characters, anyways, and that is in TNA. I look at a guy like a Kenny King and I say, in theory, he has a lot of the tools where he should be able to get over with the WWE audience. But then again, I come back to the pigment issue, and I'm sorry, it's there for the WWE. I just don't think the WWE would fully know what to do with him. They would try to make him some type of Xavier Woods type of character. He'd get featured for like a month, maybe two. It would be inconsistent at that, and then you wouldn't see him for 3 months except when he's getting squashed by Rusev. And then I look at the Cowboy James Storm, and I don't think his current character would work well for the WWE. Not meaning that he couldn't or it shouldn't work well. It just, I don't think, would work well because of the type of characters and performers the WWE likes to feature and push. And I just don't think a beer drinking redneck cowboy in today's PG WWE would work for the WWE. And I think he would be one of those guys that would come in and you would think at first that, wow, they're actually going to really do something with him. And then nothing really ever happened with him, and he'd be future endeavored 6 months or a year later, or he'd be getting squashed on shows like Main Event or Superstars. So now I get to the guys that I think actually, with their current characters, could actually get over in the WWE. And the first guy that comes to mind, not the only guy, one guy that comes to mind is Magnus. Talking about a guy in his mid 20s with a decent look, has the ability to talk on the mic, get his point across, and kind of carries himself in that cocky, kind of condescending way. And I think the WWE would look at him and actually, because of the fact that they would have to understand at some point in time they've got to expand their brand internationally, which means featuring some international stars at the top and not just Canadians or Hispanics. I think Magnus would actually get a shot. They would actually feature him. They would actually promote him. They would actually push him. And they would actually give him a chance to get over. So I think a guy like Magnus could actually work in the WWE. I look at Eric Young. And people will say, well, why do you say Eric Young of all people? Well, Santino Marella sure the hell got over in the WWE. I think in Eric Young in that type of comedic role, there's always a place for a comedic character or two in the WWE. And I have no doubt in my mind that given time and Eric Young could actually get his comedic shtick over, and he would be one of those guys that could transition from TNA to WWE. I look at Austin Aries. You look at him in terms of an overall package, somewhat similar, at least to a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan. He would come in with his own loyal following from the internet and more serious adult fans. And I think whether it be a heel or a face, he could sit there and work and he could sit there and talk. And people would buy into him. People would believe in him. So as a result, I think an Austin Aries could get over if he made the transition from TNA to WWE. But the number one guy to me that you could take right now in his current incarnation, his current character, and transition from TNA to WWE, to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, has to be the it factor of professional wrestling, Bobby Roode. This is a guy that has pretty much all of the tools. This is a guy that has the look. This is the guy that has an ability to connect with the crowd. For the WWE standpoint, he has an incredibly unique character. A now non-chicken shit aggressive heel that is in your face, that isn't afraid and doesn't back down from anybody. And then you talk about his ability to work in the ring, his ability to talk on the mic. You take all of those things, and you've got the potential, and I mean this, for a big time superstar in the WWE. How refreshing would it be for you as a WWE fan to see an actual aggressive heel, a guy that's not afraid, a guy that faces any challenges, actually issues challenges, instead of every time you turn around he needs help to win, or he's running away, or he's backing away from the challenge or fight. We get tired of that. We get sick of seeing it because all of these freaking heels are the same in WWE. In fact, they usually end up becoming baby faces. A guy like a Bobby Roode I think could actually get over as a heel, getting actual heel heat. But at some point in time, too, on the flip side of that, you could easily flip him to the other side of the fence, and he has a lot of those qualities that would make him very respectable and, as a result, very likable to an audience. They'd be able to connect with him. He would register with them, and he would actually become a big-time babyface for the company. So yeah, I really think of the one guy above all else on TNA's roster right now. If I had to sit there and say TNA went out of business next month, and there were 4 guys I could bring in from TNA to work in WWE, it would probably be Magnus, Eric Young, Austin Aries, and Bobby Roode. And out of those 4 guys, if I had one that I could peg and say he actually had the chance to become a top guy down the road in the WWE, it would probably be Bobby Roode because of some of the things that I just mentioned. Like I said, to me, it was just kind of an interesting topic. Maybe you found this interesting, maybe you didn't. Let me know who you think from TNA would actually be able to go and get over in the WWE. And who do you think would be that one guy from TNA that would be most likely to succeed for Vince McMahon and Triple H and Stephanie in the WWE? For my money, I'm putting my money on Roode because it pays to be Roode. Bobby Roode.